I wonder whether you're being naive. I wonder whether it's realistically, is it possible to have the 90% good without the 5% who take it too far?
Sure, if you have notions of rights and there are people who violate other people's rights and then we prosecute them, I think that's a good thing. Yeah. I mean, rape is not a microaggression. Sexual, I mean, what Harvey Weinstein was doing was illegal.
It was monstrous.
Yeah, but, well, I don't want to sidetrack us too much, but many of the things that are damaging aren't as cut and dried as that, though, right? I mean, there's a reason that we're talking about this there were cultures that were hostile to outsiders, and that hostility was expressed in subtle ways. And when people talk about microaggressions, they are, in a sense, rehearsing arguments that may have real validity and meaning later on in the real world. Is that not a...
So the idea of microaggressions is right on 2 points and wrong on at least 2. The idea of microaggressions was proposed by Chester Pierce, I think it was a sociologist in the 70s, and then popularized in a 2006 or 7 article by Daryl Wing Su. So if a microaggression is a small act of aggression, maybe one that you can kind of deny that you had any intent, that's fine. That's a useful concept to have. And the other reason why microaggression is useful is that it's meant to apply, so if you're Asian or if your skin is dark, people often ask you, where are you from? And what they really want to know is what's your ancestry, what's your heritage? And so there's no harm intended, no hostility, but that can become tiresome. And so it would be good to have a word for that. And it would be good if we're trying to assemble the most diverse possible campuses, it would be good to teach incoming students from all over the world, you know what, don't keep asking people where they're from unless you literally mean, where were you born? But it's useful to have a concept for that. And we have a concept. It's a very necessary concept. It's the word faux pas. Well, it's so necessary we had to borrow it from French because we didn't have the word, but we needed it. Okay, so faux pas. And so if you're bringing people together and they're human beings, young human beings from diverse places, diverse social class, you can say, you know what, there's going to be a lot of misunderstandings. Let's try to work this out. Diversity is hard. Diversity is hard work. If we do it right, we get benefits. If we do it wrong, we don't trust each other, and we have endless litigation. And so let's teach you about some things that you probably shouldn't say. Let's teach you about the concept of a faux pas, and that would be one school. But then in another school, they have the same incoming class, same kinds of issues to deal with, but what they do instead is they say, it's not a faux pas, it's an act of aggression. The world's divided between good people and bad people, and you can tell by looking at them. If they're binary dimensions, male is powerful, which is bad, and every other gender is weak, which is good. White is powerful, bad. So you teach students, see all those people out there? Break them up into binary categories. One side is good, the other side is bad. So let's throw away hundreds of years of progress where we tried to get over labeling people and hating them because of the group. Let's bring that all back. Hate those people, and those people. Put it together. Now, go. Oh, and by the way, here's the number to call if anyone offends you. Report them. Which school would you rather go to, regardless of what your race, sex, or sexual orientation is? Which one would you rather go to?
You said earlier that that this has affected the way you teach.
Yes.
Tell us about that. What do you not teach now?
Oh, I wouldn't teach. So, for example, one example would be, so I teach a course on professional responsibility. I teach in the business school. And we've always had a unit on discrimination law. They're going out into the world. And these are MBA students mostly, entirely. And so they need to know what the law is on all kinds of discriminations. We cover that. That I can do. But I used to talk about what are the issues? Is it numerical representation? Is it hostile climate? What are all the issues? And I would ask the people in the class, what are the kinds of issues that you face in the workplace? And it was kind of hard to get them to talk because even by 2012, when I started teaching this course, people were a little on edge about talking about these issues. But I felt like I could do that, and that was a good thing for us to do in the class. But I wouldn't do that now, and I don't do that anymore. So, for example, if we were to talk, as we say in the book, the issue, say, in tech or anywhere else, if women face obstacles because of their gender, that's terrible, that has to end. If they are demeaned, if they're not taken seriously, all those issues are about how you're treated. If any group doesn't have equal dignity, that's a serious problem. Unfortunately, we've gone in widely across the culture for a concept of underrepresentation. So if a group is underrepresented, we then are taught, we're supposed to say that's evidence of structural sexism or racism. And we're not supposed to look at the pipeline. Do not look at the pipeline. Just if it's not 50-50 in the physics department, it's structural sexism. Now, I used to bring that argument up. I used to say, what counts? What are the problems? Which ones should we focus on, and which ones should we say, you know what? If there's no obstacle and people choose differently, that's okay. I wouldn't dare do that now because that's a microaggression. That's a micro-invalidation. I would be invalidating someone who believed that there is structural sexism. So I don't touch that stuff.
There's a way for you to make that argument without... I'm puzzled by that. You strike me as being both extraordinarily intelligent and extraordinarily articulate. You can't say that in a way that wouldn't get a...
Well, I can, and I just did. I just wouldn't do it at a school that I teach at.
Yeah.
Wait.
Makes sense to me.